إن الحمد لله نحمده حمدا كثيرا طيبا كما يستحق كل محامد. هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق وبلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وجاهد في الحق جهاده وترك الأمة على البيضاء ليلها كنهارها ولا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. صلى الله نبينا وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم يوم الدين. أما بعد. طيب هو هذا جهمية. جهمي هو هذا جهمي. شنو؟ وانا اصلا who are the Jahmis? Okay, tell me about Jahmis first. Who are these people? What do they have in belief?
They believe that Allah has no names or attributes.
They deny everything. Okay. Who do they follow?
One of the Imams.
Not their Imam, not our Imam. Who do they attribute to Jahmiyyah? Jahm bin Safwan. طيب. Jahmiyyah, they did a lot of bid'ah. They committed on this earth, major bid'ah. Give me one of the bid'ah they've done. Okay, he gave one, another one.
Deny the sifat of Allah.
Yeah. No? Sure. So, what other bid'ah they've done? Khalqul Quran. Many things. What other? Do you remember the bid'ah they've done? Mention this. Other bid'ah. They promoted. What other bid'ah they've done? Jahmiyyah. They came with the Khalqul Quran is created. They denied the sifat of Allah. What else? Just so you go make note. Go on.
I think Iman, everyone has the same Iman.
Iman, the irja, the irja, the spreaded irja. What else?
Allah will not be seen on the day of judgment.
That's also what else?
Allah is not above the arsh.
Above the arsh. Also, they believed the Jahannam will become perish. Jannah will not be perish. That's what they believed. Okay, let's go to the Sanad. Jahm bin Safwan, who was his teacher? Jahm bin Dirham. His teacher is Aban. His name is Aban, yeah. And his teacher is Talut. Talut's teacher is Labid bin A'sam. Okay? And he the one who decided to Prophet. So remember this sanad, inshallah. Aban bin Sam'an, yeah. So that's Jahmiyyah. Good to know them. طيب. Let's start inshallah. نبدأ. قال إمام الحافظ what's his name? Kunya name محمد بن سليمان. نعم. وقل ينزل الجبار في كل ليلة بلا كيف جل الواحد متمدح. طيب. وقل, the command here from the Imam, say we should believe that, or hold on to that statement, okay, that Yanzil al-Jabbaru. Al-Jabbar is Allah, and it's one of the name of Allah Azza wa Jal, from the 99 names. وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوا بِهَا. To Allah belong the beautiful names, and called by these names. And Hadith Ibn Mas'ud, لله 99 مئة إلا واحد فمن أحصاها دخل الجنة. That Allah has 99 names, that whoever memorize them, practice them, learn them, implement them will enter Jannah. طيب. So Al-Jabbar is one of them. And Shaykh Abdul Razak Al-Badri has a book on 99 names of Allah, and he explains them. Okay? And if you look at all of the scholars, they explain 99 names, they're all the same explanation. Nothing, as long as they're from Ahl Sunnah, they will give same explanation. Jabbar has three meanings. One of the meaning Jabbar is Al-Aziz, Al-Mateen, the most powerful. And there's no one powerful than Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? He's most powerful, he's the most greatest. That's one of the meaning of Al-Jabbar. Also Al-Jabbar means Alladhi Yajbir. He brings good. So Shaykh says that someone is ill, he'll give him shifa. Someone is poor, he will make him rich. Okay? Make him wealth, he will provide him, looks after him. Jabbar, Jabara, Yajbir, it comes from that. To provide, facilitate for the people, for the slave. Also Jabbar, the third meaning of Jabbar is the one who is above everything. Allah is above everything and nothing above Allah Azza wa Jal. So here we learn one of the name of Allah, Imam Al-Hafidh is Al-Jabbar. He could have said, وَقُولْ يَنزِلْ الرَّحْمَنِ Ar-Rahim, one of the name of Allah, but he's Al-Jabbar. في كل ليلة, every night. Now, Allah Azza wa Jal, He comes down to the lowest heaven every night, and this is the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah, and we believe Allah comes down, He comes down, Allah Azza wa Jal, our Lord, the way befits Allah. Okay? And Prophet told this to companions, and companion did not ask anything else. They affirmed it. Allah comes down, okay, in a way that befits Allah Azza wa Jal. And who denied this? Jahmiyyah. Jahmiyyah didn't believe this thing. And those people who say Allah doesn't come down, His mercy comes down, and this is batil as well. And Shaykh al-Islam, he wrote whole book explaining Hadith Kitab al-Nuzul. He wrote whole book on this, explaining the Hadith. Tayyib. Now, Allah comes down to the lowest heaven. Hadith Abu radiallahu anhu, ينزل ربنا تبارك وتعالى في كل ليلة من السماء إلى سماء الدنيا. Okay, حين يبقى في الثلث الآخر. That Allah comes down to the lowest heaven, okay, third part of the night. Then what Allah says, من يدعوني فأستجيب له ومن يسألني فأعطيه ومن يستغفرني فأغفر له. That who will make dua to me, I'll respond to his dua. Whoever asks me, I'll give him. And whoever seeks my forgiveness, I'll forgive him. Okay, and different version comes. Okay, different versions of the hadith. Tayyib. Now, there are many questions around this. As a human being, we might think that, so Allah comes physically, comes down. Yeah, He comes down. We don't imagine it. He comes down the way befits Allah Azza wa Jal. Tayyib, we don't deny it. We believe it. We don't ask how as well. Tayyib. So, the question is, if Allah comes down, also the Ahlul Bidah says what? Allah doesn't come down, His mercy comes down. So the Shaykh al-Islam, he explained this hadith, he refused the argument. Even the Shaykh Fawzan, others, they say, if Allah comes down, if the mercy comes down, how can the mercy said, whoever makes dua to me, I'll respond to the dua. Whoever seeks forgiveness, I'll forgive them. You don't make dua to the attributes of Allah. You don't say Ya Rahma, Ighfirli. Ya Al-Izza, Ighfirli. You don't call the sifat of Allah. Now you call Allah. So how can this sifat comes down, Rahma, and tell you to do this? Ask my forgiveness, I'll forgive you. Make dua to me, I'll respond to your dua. You ask me, I'll give you. Rahma doesn't talk like this. It doesn't work. So how can that be? Can't be. So it's Allah who comes down and He says this. Tayyib. So that's easy to refute that, inshallah. So Allah comes down, and this is Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah. The question is, we might think that, or we might ask ourselves, if Allah comes down to the lowest heaven, so that means He entered the heaven, He left the arsh. So this is the question was asked. Within Ahl Sunnah, they were discussing this. And Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah brings in his book, Kitab al-Nuzul, Hadith of Nuzul, and he talks about it. And before that, the ulama have said, Al-Awza'i, Fudayl bin Iyad, when it comes to Hadith al-Nuzul, they said, يفعل ما يشاء يفعل الله ما يشاء. He does whatever He wishes. Yani, He comes down the way He befits Him. This is not something we need to know. We know He comes down. Khalas. Tayyib. Now the question is, what the story brings, Shaykh al-Islam brings the story that Ishaq ibn Rahawayh, he comes into the room of Abdullah bin Tahir, one of the Amir. And Abdullah bin Tahir, he said to Ishaq ibn Rahawayh, what is this you talk about, this hadith of Nuzul? What is this hadith? He said, Allah comes down to the lowest heaven, He leaves place to place, He leaves a place, comes to another place. Then he says, يقدر الله أن ينزل وهو في مكانه. That is Allah is able to come down and He's in His place. We don't deny that. We might think how, but this is how the Salaf understood. Hamad bin Zayd was asked about hadith of nuzul. And he said, what is this hadith of nuzul? Allah يتحول من مكان إلى مكان. He moved from one place to another place. He says, then he says, Hamad bin Zayd, one of the great Imam, he says, هو يقرب من خلقه كيف يشاء. That هو في مكانه ويقرب من خلقه كيف يشاء. Allah is in His place, but He comes close to His slave the way He wishes. So Ishaq ibn Rahawayh, Hamad bin Zayd, believed Allah is on top of the throne, but He comes down in a way that befits Allah Azza wa Jalla. But Sahaba never asked this question, they believed it, we just believe it. But if we want to discuss this, we can discuss this is what the Salaf have said. And يَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Allah does whatever He wish. If someone were to ask you, you believe Allah comes down to the lowest heaven, and what is He, top of the arsh or inside the arsh? He said, we say Allah does whatever He wishes, but we believe He comes down. This is the answer we give. طيب. So Shaykh al-Islam, he brings three opinions within Ahl Sunnah. When Allah comes down, does He leave the arsh or He doesn't leave the arsh? The first opinion is that of Ishaq ibn Rahawayh, Imam Ahmad, I think, and Hamad bin Zayd, and maybe others, that Allah is on His throne, top of His throne. He comes down the way He wishes. He comes down and He's still top of His arsh. The second opinion is that نتوقف. This is the opinion of Abdul Ghani al-Maqdisi, the one who wrote Umdat al-Ahkam. I think some other A'imma, that we leave it. Because Sahabas never spoke about it. We just naqif, we stop on that. And the second opinion is that Allah comes down, He leaves His arsh. طيب. So I'm just giving you benefit. Any of these opinions is better. But some of them remain silent. When Prophet told the companion about this hadith, they never said, does Allah leave the arsh? The Sahaba never spoke about it. But anyway, so Allah Azza wa Jal comes down to the lowest heaven. But the amazing thing about the hadith is that Allah comes down and He requests, He waits for His slaves to make dua to Allah Azza wa Jal. And man yastaghfiruni fa'aghfir la. And we know the slave of Allah, إنكم تخطون بالليل والنهار وأغفر الذنوب جميعا فاستغفروا أغفر لكم. Abu Dharr in Sahih Muslim, that O my slave, you commit sin night and day, I forgive. Ask my forgiveness, I'll forgive you. So this is a time when we make dua, Allah will accept the dua. And in the Quran, Allah commands us, وَبِالْأَسْحَارِهِمْ يَسْتَغْفِرُونَ. Yani Allah talks about the believers at the time of suhoor, at the time of 1/3 of the night. The believers at the time of suhoor, they make istighfar to Allah Azza wa Jal. So we should make istighfar. If you can get up before Fajr, make istighfar, inshallah, and Allah comes down and He will accept the dua. If we make istighfar, Allah will forgive us, and if we ask Allah, He will give us. Now, this is a time of dua. It's guaranteed to be accepted, and obviously dua is accepted any time, but this specific time is best time to make dua. Also other times are there, like Imul Arafah is a time when Allah accepts the dua of the believers. طيب. So here we learn is that Allah comes down to the lowest heaven, and we believe it as we believe other sifat of Allah Azza wa Jal. Also the ulama says that when it comes to nuzul, we believe it, we don't ask how. Okay, we don't ask how. Like for example, imanuhu wajib, suwalu anhu bid'ah. Okay, we believe have iman in the nuzul, but to ask how is bid'ah, and that's applied for any sifat of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, story goes on. There is a man called, story I just mentioned because the people create lies against Ahl Sunnah. Ibn Battuta, he's from Tanji, he's from Morocco, and he born there. He's Maghribi. He's a historian. He traveled a lot, and he he wrote a book, تحفة النظارة في غرائب الأمصار والعجائب الأسفار. Basically, I can't really translate that, but it means that, he wrote this gift, okay, but he explains his journey, the amazing thing he experienced in his journey. So he's narrating this to the people. And that book, Shaykh Abdul Karim Khudair mentions a lot of bid'ah in it, khurafat, innovation, shirkiyah in the book. It's not book of Ahl Sunnah, bid'ah in there. But one of the journey he brings, Ibn Battuta, he went to Damascus and he prayed. So inshallah, he's Muslim. He prayed and he's narrating a story that he was there and he saw Shaykh al-Islam giving dars. And he's explaining istiwa of Allah, or nuzul of Allah Azza wa Jalla, Allah coming down to the lowest heaven. So Ibn Taymiyyah was on the top of the minbar and he's coming down. So he said, Nuzulullah Azza wa Jal kamithli nuzuli hadha. So he said, this Ibn Taymiyyah said, apparently what he's saying, Yazu Billah. So Allah coming down to the lowest heaven is the way I have come down now. So he's giving kayfi of it. How? A'udhu Billah. So he's making tashbih of the creation. So the Shaykh Abdul Karim Khudair, one of the lajna, he said, this is fabrication against Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. Why? Because Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah was alive, but he was in the prison, Qal'a. And he never met Ibn Taymiyyah. And it wasn't Ibn Taymiyyah. So the qissa goes like this. So this was a lie against Ibn Taymiyyah. How can Ibn Taymiyyah create a lie against Allah Azza wa Jalla? How he can say, when he wrote Wasatiyah, and he mentioned we don't do takif. We don't say how. How can you do how here? How can you literally say this is how Allah comes down? Yadu billah. So that was a lie against Shaykh al-Islam. That was, inshallah. So this is the benefit we are giving. Tayyib. So we believe in nuzul of Allah Azza wa Jal, my brothers, that Allah comes down the way it befits Allah Azza wa Jal. Tayyib. Let's go to the next point. إلى طبق الدنيا يمن بفضله فتفرج أبواب السماء وتفتح يقول ألا مستغفر يلقى غافرا ومستمنح خيرا رزقا فيمنح. طيب. Let's take the first line of the poetry. Now it talks about إلى طبقة الدنيا. Okay, إلى طبقة الدنيا. Allah said, ألم تروا كيف خلق الله سبع سماوات طباقا. Allah said that in Nuh, that have you not seen how Allah created the seven heavens in levels? Okay, so Al-Hafiz, he's talking about nuzul. Allah comes down to the lowest heaven, and the heavens are seven levels. So what we see, the first one above the six of them, there's a hadith. Apparently all the hadith that talks about this is weak, that between every heaven 500 years of journey. Hadith of Abbas, Ibn Abbas, other ones. But the ulama says all the hadith that talks about the gaps between each heaven are weak hadith. So hadith is 500 years of journey basically. But their hadith weak hadith. But some of the scholars of Najd, they use the hadith. Shaykh Fawzan used the hadith in one of his books. But hadith are weak. So Allah comes down to the lowest heaven. يَمُنُّ بِفَضْلِهِ. Allah bestows with His virtue. What is the virtue? The virtue is that Allah Azza wa Jal, He comes down to the lowest heaven. He asks Allah, Allah asks His slave, whoever wants to make dua, I'll respond to your dua. Whoever asks for my forgiveness, I'll forgive him. Whoever asks for me, I'll give him. So that's the manna. This is the ni'mah of Allah Azza wa Jal. From His virtue that He's coming. He doesn't have to come down. He's coming down. He wants to forgive us. He wants to respond to a dua. That's the fadl. That's the Hafiz mentioning in the poem. So we should take the advantage of this, that Allah comes down and make istighfar, make dua, read Quran, this opportunity that Allah has given us. فَتُفْرَجُ الْأَبْوَابُ السَّمَاءِ. Now here, when we make dua to Allah Azza wa Jal, the best time of dua, the heaven and the earth, the door opens. The door of the Jannah opens for the slaves. So it's an opportunity that basically we should ask Allah for istighfar. يقول ألا مستغفر يلقى غافرا. طيب. So the narration said, another narration says, ألا مستغفر. not yastaghfir, mustaghfir, who is the one, then is seeker of forgiveness, I can forgive them. Okay? Mustamnihu khaira, so they will be granted reward, khair, and the provisions through that. So this Shaykhul Islam here, basically he's pointing out the ni'mah of that time, of that night, 1/3 of the night, that is a time of istighfar, dua. Allah will bestow us with this virtue, so we should take the opportunity to make istighfar to Allah, dua, and ask Allah whatever we need, inshallah. طيب, so that's what basically means. وروى ذلك قوم لا يرد حديثهم. وروى ذلك قوم يعني it is narrated by the people, the companions narrated this to us. لا يرد حديثهم. No one rejected it regarding the nuzul. So hadith of nuzul that we have is authentic hadith, mutawatir hadith. Different narrated the hadith. Okay, no Ahl Sunnah ulama have rejected the hadith. Okay, they accepted the hadith which came from the companion radiallahu anhu ajma'in, and they accepted it, except Ahl Hawa. ألا خاب قوم كذبوهم وقبحوا. Except those Ahl Bid'ah who came, they disbelieved in the text and the nusus of the nuzul of Allah Azza wa Jalla, the Jahmiyyah and Mu'tazila. They distorted the hadith, and they say Allah doesn't come down, His rahmah comes down. So they did not believe the actual hadith. They distorted, made ta'wilat. Jahmiyyah completely denied it. طيب, so the Sahabas are narrating the hadith, mutawatir hadith, that Allah comes down to the lowest heaven. Okay, and we affirm as Ahl Sunnah, we affirm all that. طيب, so that was the Babul Nuzul, and we cover this more in Wasati, inshallah. So we understand what it is and how to refute the people when they say it's not Allah comes down, it's the mercy comes down. We know what to say to them. طيب, the next poem is فضل الصحابة وتفاضلهم ومحبتهم. طيب, the virtues of the companions and the nobility and the having love for them. وقل إن خير الناس بعد محمد وزيراه قدما ثم عثمان أرجح ورابعهم خير البرية بعدهم علي حليف الخير بالخير منجح. طيب, and Hafiz saying that the author of the book, Ibn Abi Dawud, saying that, say that, this is what we should say, I mean we should believe that, hold on to that. The best of the mankind after Prophet ﷺ, and he goes on. Now, first of all, Sahaba radiallahu anhum, the companions. What is the definition of Sahaba? Ulama has given the definition. The most common definitions given by scholars, like one of them is Man laqiya Rasulullah imanan wa mata ala dhalik huwa sahabi. That whoever met Prophet ﷺ with iman, he died upon it, is the companion. That's one of the definitions, and that's the best definition as well. I think so. Ibn Hajar mentions. The other one is Man ra'a Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam imanan wa mata ala dhalik. The second definition is that who saw Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with iman, he died upon it. But there's a contradiction on this bit. If you take that definition, then Ibn Maktum is not a Sahabi. He's blind. So Ibn Hajar says Laqiya is the best one, because that can fall under blind and non-blind. Tayyib. So Ra'a is not a good one, because not everyone sees. Sahabas are blind as well. Tayyib. So Ibn Maktum. Tayyib. So Allah Azza wa Jal has praised the companion in the Quran. Okay. First we take the verse of the Quran, how Allah praises them. Allah said, وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُ مِنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُهُمْ بِإِحْسَانٍ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ وَأَعَدَّ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا أَبَدًا ذَلِكَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. Allah said, وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُونَ, those advanced at the beginning, those advanced, who? From the Muhajirin wal Ansar, and those who follow them in good. May Allah be pleased with them, and they pleased with Allah. Allah has prepared for them paradise beneath which river flows, to abide there forever. And that's the greatest achievement. Now this hadith, this ayah explains the virtues of the companion. Allah praising the companion. Who are them? Muhajirin and Ansar. Muhajirun are those who migrate from Mecca to Medina. Ansar are those who help us in Medina. Khazraj and Aus. These are two tribes made up of Ansar. طيب. Now, in the hadith, Prophet said that خيركم قرني ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم. That best of you from is my generation and those who follow them and those who follow them. The first three generations, which are they're known as Salaf al-Salih, the pious predecessors. طيب. Now, from the Muhajirun and Ansar, Muhajirun are the better than the Ansar. Generally, the general statement, there could be somebody specifically from Ansar, could be better than Muhajir, but generally what Allah mentioned Muhajirun before the Ansar. Okay, He says, وَالسَّابِقُونَ مِنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ, shows the Muhajirin are the better than Ansar, because the qa'idah we follow, because what mentioned first is better than the word comes after. طيب. And this verse Allah says, للفقراء المهاجرين الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم وأموالهم يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانه وينصرون الله ورسوله أولئك هم الصادقون. This one Allah talks about the fuqara and masakin. Faqir is worse than miskin. Faqir is in worse situation. Miskin has some sort of provision, but faqir is the worst. Allah describing from the fuqara of the muhajirin, those who were kicked out from their house and from the land, and they left their wealth, seeking the pleasure of Allah and happiness, and they aided Allah and His Messenger. Allah described them, they are the truthful one. So the muhajirun who are the best, they are better than the Ansar. Also, those who Muslims became Muslim before the conquest of Mecca, better than the Muslim who became Muslim after the conquest of the Mecca. Because before conquest of Mecca was a difficult time, and they spent in the cause of Allah. After the conquest of Mecca, it will become ease. So, in that sense, the Muslim before the conquest of Mecca faced difficulties, like Muhajirun, they faced difficulties, and they practiced their deen at the time of difficulty, the Muhajirun, and they have to leave their land to go Medina. Subhanallah. And they stayed on the mountain. No food, nothing. They were eating leaves and things like that. It wasn't 1 week, 2 weeks, a long time. They stayed in the mountain before actually they walked to Medina. So the Muhajirun are the better than the Ansar, and those who became Muslim before the conquest of Mecca, the better than those who became Muslim after the conquest of Mecca. طيب. So also Allah said in the Quran, Allah said, فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ فَقَدْ اهْتَدَوْا. This is the ayah also Allah talks about the virtue of the Sahabas. Imam al-Tabari mentioned, Ibn Abbas says, if they believe the way you believed, they will be guided. This hadith, this ayah talks about the kuffar of the Ahlul Kitab. But the principle is same. So Allah is saying, if the Ahlul Kitab, if they believe the way you believe the companion, then they will be guided. Now, Shaykh Saleh brings in a benefit here. You know when the word Iman is mentioned, and after Iman is Ba mentioned, then he talks about Iman Shar'iyyah, belief in the heart, statement of the tongue, action of the limbs. So, فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا, if they believe the way you believe, meaning the Iman of the heart, tongue and the limbs. Okay? So actual Iman, then they will be guided. I mean the Ahlul Kitab, they will be guided. But even for the Muslims, we can say that as well. If you got Muslims committing sins, if they don't follow, if they don't have the Iman of the companions, they will never get salvation in dunya and akhirah. Yadu billah. So it's for Muslim and non-Muslim as well. But I talked about the Ahlul Kitab. Yes. For Muslim, if they want to have a salvation, they have to follow way of the companions. They have to have the Iman of the companions. Because they are the people who lived time of Rasulullah, they saw Prophet, they lived with him, they saw the revelation. So if they don't, if you don't take from them, who are you going to take it from? طيب. So فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا. So Ibn Abbas said, فَإِنْ آمَنُوا الَّذِي آمَنْتُمْ. Okay? بِالَّذِي آمَنْتُمْ. He put, الَّذِي, if they believe which you have believed, okay? Then they will be guided. طيب? So, this is the ayah clearly talks about the companion, praising the companion. This tum here, pronouns, antum, amantum, talking about the companions, the Sahabas radiallahu anhum. So that's another ayah where Allah praises the companions. Many, many verses. We can give another one as well. Allah said, وَالَّذِينَ جَاءُوا مِن بَعْدِهِمْ, أي after the Sahabas, Tabi'un, the believers, all of them who came after the Sahabas. As for those who came after them, Sahabas, يقولون ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. They say, so the people who came after the companion, Tabi'in, Tabi'in, and the believers, they said, Oh Allah, forgive us and our brothers, the companions, who advanced us in Iman. That's a praise. Advanced us in Iman. وَلَا تَجْعَلْ فِي قُلُوبِنَا, and do not make in our heart ghil, hatred for those who believed. Don't make our heart hatred for the companions. Make us love them. إِنَّكَ رَؤُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. Indeed, you are the most merciful. So this ayah talks about the Sahabas and the believers making dua for the Sahabas. And we should be like that. We should make dua for the believers. And as we apply, these apply us as well. Sahabas, Tabi'in, and those who came after them, making dua for these companions, because they advanced us Iman. Tayyib, and it's important that we make dua for one another. And so this is the virtue of the companions. Also the hadith, لا تسبوا أصحابي فوالذي نفسي بيده لو أنفق أحدكم مثل أحد ذهب ما بلغ مد أحدهم ولا نصيفه. That do not curse my companions. What is the ruling of cursing the companions? What is the ruling? Now, scholars, their general statement, like Sufyan ibn Uwaynah says that, Man sabba sahaba fa'alam annahu min al-zindiq. That whoever cursed the companion, know he is zindiq, basically kafir. Some of the opinion is that, like the Khawarij. The Khawarij, they made takfir on the companions. They hate the companions. The Shaykh explains that, the ulama explains that, their hatred is not for the deen. They don't hate the deen. They don't hate Allah and His messengers. That's clear kufr. Okay, the Khawarij, they're mutashaddid, they're extreme, they're oppressors. And they make takfir on the companions, Ali and Muawiyah. So the ulama says, making takfir on one of the companions, two of the companions, doesn't take out of all of Islam. That's number one. Number two, they say they made takfir based on ta'wil. They distort the ayat, they misinterpreted the ayah, and they made takfir on the companions, Ali mainly. So Ali was oppressed, they fought against Ali. Ali never made takfir on them. So who else to come afterward to make takfir on the companions? Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah says that Imam Ahmad did not make takfir on the Khawarij, not Murji'ah, not Qadariyah, not the extreme one. Extreme the kuffar. Okay, but he made takfir on the Jahmiyyah bila a'yan. Not specifically, generally he made takfir on Jahmiyyah, Imam Ahmad. So the question is, why Khawarij are not kuffar? Because their bid'ah based on ta'wilat. They distorted the ayah. And distortion, ta'wil is one of the things prevent someone to become a kafir. And Ali radiallahu anhu, when he was asked about Khawarij, are they kuffar? He said, yeah, they're not kuffar, they left kufr. They're oppressing us. Tayyib. So the Khawarij, they're the worst groups when it comes to hating the companions. They hate the companions, yadu billah, based on their hawa and their distortion of the ayat. They curse the companions, yadu billah. But they never hated the deen, not Allah and His Messenger. It's their mutashaddid, tashaddud, in their extreme in their view, and things like that. So they didn't understand the nusul, the text of the Quran. Subhanallah. Tayyib. So the Khawarij are Muslim, the Ahlul Bid'ah, but their scholars later on made takfir on them, and we know one of them, definitely Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah. Tayyib. So here Prophet said, لا تسبوا أصحابي فوالذي نفسي بيده. Okay, if one of you to spend gold of Uhud, it will not reach half of what they have spent. So Prophet praised the companions. Okay, now the Khawarij are not kuffar because of their ta'wilat. If someone were to curse, nowadays, if someone were to curse companions, say based on ta'wilat, but the bayan came to him, the clarification came to him, and he went against the bayan, clarification, hujjah, went against the evidence, then he will be declared to be kafir. Because until the bayan comes to the person. Because ta'wil, a Sahaba did ta'wil, and still he was Muslim. You know about the khamr, the alcohol one. So, none of the companions made takfir on them. They're the qudwa, they're the example. One of the Salaf, Khattabi, said that Sahaba, the Khawarij are not the kuffar because they held on to the asl of the deen. They still had the asl of the deen, even though they're mutashaddid in their matters, in their fatawas, So this is the stand of Ahlul Sunnah regarding the Khawarij. They're still Ahlul Fusaq. They're the people of fisk. طيب. So cursing the companion does take out of all of Islam. Cursing Aisha, no doubt. Uthman, Ali, because they are praised by the Prophet ﷺ. They are praised by Allah Azza wa Jal. So for you to curse them, then it will take the person out of all of Islam. طيب. Now let's talk about the fada'il of the companions. Now we mentioned the Muhajirun are better than the Ansar. Okay, from the Muhajirun, the best of the mankind al-Itlaq after Prophet ﷺ is Abu Bakr Siddiq. And it's Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu mentioned that Prophet would be sitting there and we will say after Prophet, Abu Bakr is better than everyone. And Prophet will listen to it, he will not say anything. Meaning that he accepted it. Tayyib. So Abu Bakr is better than everyone in the Ummah after Rasulullah. But from the Muhajirun, best are the four Khulafa Rashidin. Okay. Abu Bakr Siddiq, ثم عمر الفارقون, ثم عثمان ذو نورين, ثم علي bin Abi Talib radiallahu ajma'in. So these are the four, the best companions. Okay, Abu Bakr is better than Umar, and no doubt. Umar is better than Uthman and Ali, no doubt. But we'll cover this more inshallah. Uthman and Ali, there's a khilaf on that. Okay, the Shaykh al-Islam says that if anyone disagree with the order, he's upon dalala. If someone says Ali should have been before Uthman, that's misguidance. But if he says Ali is better than Uthman, certain thing, you can't call him because I think some of the Salaf believed Ali had something better than Uthman. If I might be wrong, Sufyan al-Thawri, but some believed it, between Uthman and Ali. But the question is, if Ali was better than Uthman, then why did Uthman came before Ali? Ayyub al-Sakhtiyani says, this is how Allah ordered it. This is how Allah placed it. So if you say Ali should be before Uthman, it's misguidance. You're saying Allah made a mistake, yadu billah. So this is from the qadr of Allah. And this is how Allah wanted it. Okay? But if someone says, I believe Ali is better than Uthman, I read the Seerah and all that, khalas, it's your opinion. We can't see you up on dalala. But if you say, do you believe Uthman, Ali should be before Uthman? Khilafa? La. Then that's okay. If he says that yes, then that's misguidance. So the four Khalifa Rashidin, the best, then the Baqiya Ashara Mubashirin, the 10 companions who were granted paradise. Who remember them? Let's go over it. So first is Umar, Uthman, Ali. We know that. Then who comes? Then the next one, the fifth one. Huh? Sa'id bin Abi Waqqas. Oh, no. Let the people have some inshallah. Zayd.
Sa'ad ibn Zayd.
Sa'ad bin Zayd. Oh, Sa'ad, yeah, okay, Sa'ad. Anyone? Talha. Any more? We've done 16 years. 4 more left. Abdurrahman bin Auf. Any more? Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah. Who else? Come on, the brother-in-law of Rasulullah. married to daughter of Abu Bakr. Zubayr
Zubair.
bin Awam.
لا.
That's, yeah, Zubayr. So these are the 10 Ashara Mubashara bil Jannah, inshallah. Try and memorize them. Good. So after them comes Ahlul Badr. Those who died in the path of Allah. The first Ghazwa. You know, the Badr is one of the name, you know, Prophet fought so many Ghazwat, so many battles. You know, sometimes Sahaba will be attributed to that, Badri. Not Tabuki or Uhudi, but Badri. Because the first Ghazwa and it has honor. So it's attributed to that. So Ahlul Badr, who fought in the path of Allah, died as a shaheed, okay? These are the next level, best of the companion. Then those who gave bay'ah to Rasulullah تحت الشجرة. Now, sometimes a companion will be known as صاحب الشجرة, أصحاب الشجرة. We covered the hadith, Umdatul Ahkam, Salma bin al-Arwa, Akwa, yeah, Salma bin al-Akwa, one of the Ashabul Shajara. Meaning, what it means is that it's a day, Sulh Hudaybiyah, the peace treaty of Hudaybiyah, when Prophet was prevented to go to Mecca to make Hajj, the mushrik of the Quraysh, they prevented him, so they had a peace treaty under that tree. Okay? There were 1,500 companions, and one of them was Salma bin al-Akwa. Okay? So Ashabul Shajara mean those the companion of the tree. Meaning under that tree, they gave allegiance to Prophet ﷺ. Okay? And these 1,500 companions was Abu Bakr, Umar, Abu Ayyub Ansari, Anas bin Malik, all of them were there. Tayyib, Ashar Mubashir al-Jannah, they all were there under that tree, who gave bay'ah to Rasulullah. And that bay'ah indicate Allah is pleased with them. Allah is pleased with all of them when they gave allegiance to Prophet ﷺ. لَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ يُبَايِعُونَكَ تَحْتَ الشَّجَرَةِ. Indeed, laqad hiya lam al-qasam. Allah making qasam, Allah can make qasam with anything. وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَاللَّيْلِ وَالْقَمَرِ. You know, Allah makes qasam with creation because He does whatever He wishes. He does not worship anyone. But when we make qasam, we have to make qasam by Allah because we worship Allah Azza wa Jal by this. So Allah made qasam, lam al-qasam, qad is tahqiq. So here Allah make qasam definitely. So they said definite. Allah is pleased with the believers. These 1,500 companions, He's pleased with them at the time when they gave bay'ah under the shajara, under that tree. Tayyib? So if Allah is pleased with His companions, for you to curse them is major kufr. Because you have gone against the text of the Quran. Allah saying, I'm pleased with them, and you are cursing them. That's how the ulama comes. They said, you're going against the text which Allah is pleased with them, and you're going against the text by saying you're cursing them. So that's how the kufr comes in. So Allah is pleased with those companions who gave bay'ah under that tree. Okay? Under that tree. طيب يا إخوة, so these companions, we have to praise them, we have to love them. Hadith in Bukhari, لا يحب الأنصار إلا المؤمن ولا يبغض الأنصار إلا المنافق. Prophet says in hadith that no one loves Ansar except the believers, and no one hates them except the munafiq. Okay? And he said, علامة الإيمان حب الأنصار. Okay? وعلامة النفاق حب بغض للأنصار. Okay? That love, sign for the Iman is to love the Ansar, and the sign of nifaq is to hate the Ansar. And he also did a hadith specifically Hassan and Hussein as well, also Muhajirun as well. So loving them is sign of Iman, and to hate them is sign of nifaq. So these companions, the ulama teaches us that we have to make istighfar for them, we make dua for them, we speak good about them, khair about them. And all the mistakes that they have done, we do not talk about them, we remain silent about the mistake. Sometimes we can use it for maslahah, but we don't talk about their mistake that they've made, we speak good about them because they're the qudwa, they're the example for the ummah, they're the one who carriers of the sunnah, they're the one who spread the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. So for us to speak about the mistakes and things like that, then it's not good. Now the ulama says when it comes to takfir of the person who hate the companion, they said that if someone hate the companion because of his suhbah, because of his knowledge, okay, about the deen, and he's the effective companion of the Prophet ﷺ, then he's kafir. But if he talks about his mistakes, sometimes you want to use this, sometimes you want to use their mistake to give lesson to the people. Their mistake, they made human being, then that's different. That's not the kufr. That's not the kufr. But we should avoid that and talk good about the companions because who they are, you know. طيب يا إخوة جزاكم الله خير. We've covered the bit about the companion and things like that. We'll continue next week. جزاكم الله خير. Any questions for me to clarify for you, inshallah, let me know. Go on.
Slightly off topic about Dhul Hijjah. My father is a bit old school, so I'm the Qurbani there. I'm giving Qurbani, sacrifice Desho, and we're doing, the 6 of us were giving 7, I can't remember. And then he's keeping the last year for the Prophet. He's giving the last year. I think it's common in Bangladesh. So I'm telling him, can't, etc. What would be your...
We covered Umdatul Fiqh, something his mom. Now, when it comes to Qurbani, you can give Qurbani back home, no problem, inshallah. And Qurbani, for a sheep, one person. Okay? When you say one person, meaning that he's the husband, he can have 4 wives, each of wives have 100 kids, no problem. But he's the head of the person, one sheep. If you have 7 brothers, all your 7 brothers have 4 wives and children, a lot of children, 7 of you, head of you, can give 1 cow. Okay? Now, the brother says that this sunnah of our people to add Prophet ﷺ. It is not from the sunnah to add his Prophet. Shaykh says, huwa ghayr mukallaf. He's no bird, his Prophet passed away. Okay? You don't put Prophet name there because you put the head of the people. Okay? So, if you can explain to them, make them understand, alhamdulillah. But if they're not going to understand, then don't cause fitna. What can you do? That's what it is. Don't make more mafsada. Okay? But explain to them, give them da'wah, explain this is not from the sunnah. Okay, Prophet, you don't put Prophet's name, you put the head of the family, and that's it. That's what I say. If you can guide them, guide them. Allah, make dua for them, inshallah. Yeah.
Just following on this, I think in a previous class last week we mentioned that poor people don't have to give Qurbani. But let's say if someone's financially well off, but at a certain stage, someone in the family is in the hospital, they've got high bills that they have to pay because they are in the hospital. In that case, do they have to do the Qurbani, or can they save the money for the...
Qurbani, we again studying Umdatul Fiqh as well. The Shaykh Tayyar being there. Sometimes Abu Bakr and Umar, they will do Qurbani, sometimes they will leave it.